Welcome to Basically Sci-Fi, the short story podcast with stories you can basically call sci-fi. I'm Adam.
I'm Jared.
And I'm Todd.
Good morning, gentlemen. And good afternoon. How are you doing?
Oh, lovely.
Great.
I'm not going to answer. I'm just going to cheer.
Just gonna cheer. Yeah!
Yay!
Well, I've got some science questions for you guys today because, we are a science podcast, an education podcast.
Oh boy. You get the jingle ready yet for it's Adam's science time.
Is that how that went? Did you just blend Mr. Rogers with the Bill Nye?
I don't know.
I know all old white guys look the same.
Guy.
Yeah. I was going to say, did these science facts come off of YouTube?
That's entrapment, and I refuse to answer that question.
All right, lay it on us.
All right, it's not really a statement. It's more of a question, and just to pick your brain, because it's something that we're all going to have to end up dealing with.
Oh. Boy.
So, laser guns and laser swords. What do you think? Viable? Stupid?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, in the future for practical use.
Yeah, and also for in our stories as well, because of course we're all doing hard science fiction.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, I've already shot a blaster and had many a laser sword.
But do you think they're?
I haven't really dealt with weapons in my stories, so.
Oh yeah, yours is more of like a slow burn drama, where all the characters are murdering each other slowly.
Well, yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
One character murdered another character.
Right. But
Maybe.
Happel had a knife. He had a knife. It was not a laser knife. It was a knife.
It wasn't one of them buzzsaw knives with the little teeth around the edge.
Or I think he had a knife. I assume.
I think
said, okay, the scene had a lot of tension, so I maybe just felt the knife in his hand.
He was gonna build a mind control device, but ran out of time.
Right.
Maybe he did have a knife. Maybe that was his backup. I can't remember. That was a week ago we read that.
That was
pretty solid backup.
Okay, so anyway, straight up, laser swords, no. Laser guns, maybe eventually, yeah.
I think... actually, I did have laser swords at one point. The Butler bots from one of my old episodes had them, the first appearance of them.
Yeah!
When they were the original story, because the dinosaur that
Yep, I was gonna say that's
joined
one of our
them.
title cards.
Yeah,
Dinosaur with
it's
the
one of the
laser
first
sword.
ones I drew. And that one I drew with my mouse in MS Paint.
Ooh, drawing with a mouse is not easy.
No.
Yeah, personally, so I think
sure.
lasers, lasers, definitely. Eventually, if the power source issue gets if you make a very small, highly energetic power source thing, but the laser sword thing though, the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking you're just gonna roast yourself standing next to it, wouldn't you? Because if it was hot, anything hot radiates heat, right?
Probably, and the idea that you could control it to a specific length is silly. Star Wars is the definition of science fiction fantasy.
Right.
It takes place in space, but it's all wizards and magic and magical swords and
Yeah, the swords being what, I'm sure they're connected to the Force. So if they're just saying that that's deep in the shape or whatever, I know they got crystals, whatever, but and I don't know.
It all depends on how big your Schwartz is.
It does. You gotta have that big old Schwartz.
I've seen yours is as big as mine.
But the Yeah, man, laser swords. I mean, they do sound like fun, though. I mean, the problem with the light, a laser is a light, right? And so, like, if you hit something with it, like, like you can't slap two of them together. It's not as fun as like a real sword. Real swords you can hit real swords.
Right?
Yeah, but like laser guns are not how they would actually be. Like lasers don't do that. You know? Yeah. Like the idea like an energy weapon, sure. That's feasible given modern science, but like being able to throw bolts of lasers that are visible and not moving too fast to be seen is is a little silly. It's all, but it serves as a necessity because you gotta have conflict, and a lot of conflict in fiction is violence.
Well, and sure, but like a lot of things.
How do you make a gun that look futuristic? Oh, it shoots a laser. Yeah, it's.
Yeah. Have you guys ever looked at the? Not everything needs to have, like, you don't need to explain everything in the movie, but you know, as the writer, you should have the answer. So you know, the first lightsaber pops up, and we go, okay, laser sword, got it.
Yeah.
Later on, and that's someone in the audience goes, but wait a second, how does that work? But with the first time you see it, you're just like, all right, I'm there, I'm with you.
Yeah.
So, like,
and I think that's why Star Trek differentiates with phasers, because phasers are like a continuous beam. You never see like the Star Wars little bolts of red. It's like from the tip of the gun to the target, there is a continuous line, and that's more realistic, I think, than like laser guns.
Yeah, with Ghostbuster plasma guns.
Yeah, Ooh. To trap those very real ghosts.
Well, plasma is also another thing that, like, I really love plasma guns in fiction, and I think plasma might actually be more feasible as like a directed energy weapon than a laser. Because I mean, especially on a planet. I saw a thing recently where they're like, so usually you would have like compressed gas that you would turn into a plasma, but someone was talking about just using the atmosphere of the planet you're on, just like sucking in gas, just sucking in oxygen or whatever, and just blasting it out as plasma. And I was like, you wouldn't even need any ammunition; it'd be free. Air is free.
All right, somebody get on that.
Yeah, somebody get on that, Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, right. Stop going to space. Get there. Make plasma guns.
Make me a plasma gun. But yeah, for lasers, I really feel like they would be most effective in fiction in like space battles. The real space battles would be like so far away you wouldn't be able to see the ship, right? Like they wouldn't be like in Star Wars where they're right next to each other. They'd be like very far away. And if you shot a conventional projectile, it would take like months for it to make the journey. But with a laser, it's just like, oh, I gotta calculate for its trajectory in 2 minutes. Be right there, and I just blast in that spot because light travels at light speed.
Yeah. No, and like I said, I'm not even sure how feasible that would be as far as
write a story about like interplanetary snipers.
Yeah, that's what all space conflict would be. It'd be interplanetary snipers. You know, you'd hide behind a planet, and then you'd like peek out, and you'd try to blast where the guy is, and then you're like, well, I hope he's there in a month, and you're shooting at the next star system over.
All right, that'll be the beginning of it. Like, man,
if you
down
want
the street, suddenly a laser blasts right next to him, just missing him, and then he realizes, oh shit, I'm in an interplanetary sniper battle, and then he shoots back.
He's got to lick his finger to get the air trajectory or the fucking airspeed or whatever. That reminds me, if you really want to hear a real life story of this nonsense, dear viewers, the way the Bismarck sunk the hood is a good analogy for what we're talking about here. But
it
was beyond.
I just want to hear your story.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll put this at the credits then. The Bismarck sunk the hood, though. They couldn't even fucking see the thing. It was beyond the curve of the Earth, like beyond the horizon. Yep. And they used like triangulation with like airplanes to like measure where it would be, and they shot straight up in the air, and the fucking thing went up and then came straight down on top of the hood. It's nuts.
I preferred Leprechaun in the Hood.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
That's why they made the second one, Back in the Hood.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, all right. Time for some science fiction.
Don't you hate on the Leprechaun movies. Those are genius.
Uh-huh. I will watch them someday.
Yep.
All right. Who's ready?
I am.
Sweet.
I'm still upset that you haven't watched the Leprechaun movies, but yeah, go for it.
I can't watch them now. Okay. Now, wait a minute. Are you trying to tell me that you're not a kid in a costume? Mack said, towering over the small yellow creature, in his boxers. Mack's stomach had been making butter something fierce ever since Miss Jenkins had given him them cookie dough sticks. Guess was the last thing he wanted. Yes! An exhausted Freddy said, massaging his temples. What does Freddy sound like? I know I used to say my father to get into the... There we go, right. I got it. Yeah, there we go, I got it. Yeah. I'm just going to do that every time I talk, though. Mack's stomach gurgled. Oh, and what do you want to do? You want to crash at my apartment for a week? Now, are you even listening, Earthman? Mack had sweat beading up on his forehead. There was a sploink and a glorp sound. Oh, Jesus, no. He said, and he pulled the curtain closed that separated his toilet from the rest of his apartment, sitting back down on his toilet. From where Freddy was standing, he could hear a torrent of liquid gush and sputter.
Jesus.
Must be the
same. What do you think he's doing in there, Kronk? It's hard to know, sir. Possibly buying time to turn us down. This one doesn't seem keen on leaving his house. The robot responded. The sounds coming from the other side of the curtain eventually stopped. Freddy slowly reached up towards the curtain, stopping just short of touching them. My father. Mr. Tullis, are you okay in there? He waited for a moment. Kronk, you think he's dead? Or he's got some kind of escape hatch in there? I could go and check, sir, the robot responded. The toilet could be heard flushing. No, don't do it. It could be dangerous. Let's wait for him to come out. Mack woke up, sweating, covered in sweat, still sitting on the toilet. He tried to recall what he was doing earlier. There was Miss Jenkins' cookies. And
he passed out?
Something about a tin man and a little yellow monster, but that must have been some kind of a fever dream. Well, he decided to clean himself up. He opened the curtains. There was a small yellow monster manhandling the figurines in his display cabinet across the room from him. A tin man was busying himself on Mack's PC. Mack quickly drew the curtains shut again and sat back down. Oh God, he thought to himself, this is real. Mr. Tullis, wait! Freddy shouted, dropping a Primarch figure and waddling back over to the curtain. The figure exploded into a dozen pieces as it hit the ground. Mack poked his head out through the gap between the curtains. What do you want? The robot spun its head around to face Mack. Earthman, this matter is of the utmost importance to us. The gentle electric blue of the monitor haloed his shiny dome head. Mack could kind of see the top right corner of the screen from his position. It looked like some video was playing, with the sound off though. The robot quickly spun his head back around to the screen. Mostly to me, Kronk. You don't need to breathe air, Freddy said. Mr. Tullis, you bought my planet. Now, you're our only hope, Freddy explained. The Twent Corporation has been using my planet as a dumping ground for their chemicals. They spoil everything. The natural landscape is degenerating into an orange sea of dust. And what am I supposed to do about that? Mack said. That sounded like Buck. Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Earth,
The robot does kind of too.
Well,
anyone who takes himself seriously does.
Dad, I need to... You know what? I'm just going to stop trying.
No! No!
Okay. Earthman, if you officially register the planet you bought at the Galactic Property Council, you could make a formal complaint of illegal garbage dumping on your property, Freddy said. Wouldn't the Twent Corporation just try to buy the planet from me? I mean, it only cost $20, Mack said. If he could afford it, then there was no way this mega space corporation thing couldn't as well. Not if you refuse to sell, Mack. That's what we're getting at here, Freddy said with a big cheesy grin. Look, guys, I don't really know what you're on about, but I have to get to work in an hour. I don't really have time to play tiddlywinks with you, Mack said. The robot's head spun around. Tiddlywinks. Entry not found. Similar entry. Titmouse. Titillation. No.
Wouldn't tits have come up first?
Tits? First of all, tits is an informal use of language. That's not actually in the dictionary. Google tits. You won't find any. Do it. Fucking do it.
I'll try. Turn
all
on
right.
Safe search. Hold on a second.
Turn on safe search. What are you doing? Actually, I never have safe search on. You find any tits yet?
Just the tag tits for xvideos.com.
Exactly, and that's degenerate. That doesn't count. Anyway, back to the story. It's a kid's game where you flick coins into cups, Mack said. We won't take much of your time, and you can tell us all about this tiddlywinks in our ship, Freddy said. There's no way I could go anywhere and be back in time for work in an hour. You're welcome to ask me again tomorrow. Get out of here. No can do. We've got to get you back up to the spaceport before Twent notices this system's been bought. You'll basically be a corpse walking after that point. Mack stood to his full height and whipped the curtains open. He pulled his drawers up and gave Freddy a severe look. I don't take kindly to threats, little man. No. Freddy cowered. I wasn't saying I was going to do anything, but help you. You know. He made a show of putting his hands together, pleading with Mack. Don't you want to be a hero? You'll be saving my life, too. I mean, well, with my involvement with you now, I'm sure to be on some kind of a hit list. Freddy the Frecker looked down dejectedly. He sighed and tried to sound defeated. He rotated one of his eyes in its orbit, real quick to get a peek at Max deliberating. Mack's forehead muscles were knit together in contemplation. You do? No, that's Freddy. Do you know how much trouble I'd be in? Putting my friend out like that, not showing up to work and all. I mean, I promised him to be there. Why did I fuck that grammar up? Give me a second.
Sure.
I'm gonna leave this in. I mean, I promised I'd... I forgot how to read! No! I mean, I promised...
That sounds like a really big problem. Are you okay?
Oh, I hit my head.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, I promised him that I'd be there every night. Literally. Kronk powered down the computer and stood. He ambulated over, kicking his feet through a pile of questionably clean clothes on the floor. He's still getting the hang of his new metal skin. Earthman, he said. Are you aware of the variety of wonderful species that all live in the galaxy? I've heard that due to a general lack of phosphorus in the galaxy aside from the abundance we have here on Earth, that life is basically impossible to evolve on other planets, Mack said. He loved combing through the science boards nearly as much as he enjoyed visiting the fitness and political boards. Freddy, incredulous, pointed at his face. Evidence number 1 right here, man. Not true. This was ignored. Earthman, how do you even know this? According to your species' internet entries, you've yet to even send a single human beyond your own planet's gravity well, Kronk said. Mack pondered this, the half remembering some science words. He said, I think they use spectrometry? Spectrometry? It's used to get an estimate of the composition of the planet's atmosphere by splitting its light into different colors, or something like that. So, you have no way of knowing whether there is any appreciable amount of phosphorus in the crust of this planet, Kronk said. Not really, not without going there, Mack said. And yet, your species makes such sweeping claims as life outside Earth is highly unlikely. On my Google searches just now, I've turned up 0 studies on spectrometry searches for hydrofluorocarbons on exoplanets. That would be the simplest way to deduce intelligent life on a planet, Kronk said, triumphant. He defeated his first organic in a debate. This was cause for celebration.
That's how you get him to help.
What?
They're there to get him to help and bring him back home, and they're like, haha, we beat you.
Haha, stupid Earthling. You don't even fucking know science, dumbass.
Now come help us.
Sure thing, Mr. Robot, but, I'm not a scientist. I just work at the Quickie Mart. Don't you ever aspire to more, Mack? Freddy said. There's a whole galaxy out there for you to see, right? Right after you register your planet, of course. Kronk looked back over to the PC and looked back at Mack. And space babes, Earthman. His robotic wink went unnoticed. They don't all look like him, do they? Mack said, referring to Freddy. No, most of them actually look like you. Mack dithered some more. He looked over at his computer. Look, Mack. I just want to sit on my porch and look at the horizon. One filled with the absence of the orange dust. And watch that beautiful sun recede like my hairline. Freddy said, let's go chase our dreams. Well, I guess you've worn me down. There's nothing for it but me to help. I mean, I'm going to need a doctor's note, of course. So I can call in from work. Jim will dock my pay if I don't. Also, I heard on the boards that mayonnaise can help out with the hair thing, Mack said. Mack got his effects in order and a short call to Jim later. He put a few things in a bag, put on his favorite jeans, black t-shirt, his favorite shades, and he slicked back his blonde pompadour and followed Freddy down the stairs out to the spaceship in the parking lot. Go. What?
All right, he's Johnny Bravo, yeah.
Look, man.
He looks like John. His name is Mack.
His name is Mack,
okay,
yes.
But now I know what he looks like, too. Except with orange skin, also.
Beta-carotene. Too much of it.
Yeah.
Hang on, guys.
That or fake tan.
Or a fake tan, yeah. He could be the situation. I should be talking like the situation for him. Well, that'd be really problematic. Hang on, guys. It's that pink human from earlier, Freddy said, pulling Kronk and Mack to the side to hide behind a pickup's tailgate. He pointed over to the spaceship where a round, pink, and irritated human sat on the boarding ramp. Why is he there? Mack said. He's angry about some spots or something, Freddy said. Mack squinted really hard. He wasn't wearing his prescription glasses. You're taking up a few parking spots, yeah, it looks like. But, who would hold on to their anger that long? I mean, he's so pink, he must have been sitting there all day. I'll disperse him, Mack said, rising. Freddy squeaked in surprise and tried to grab Mack and pull him back, but the taut jeans he wore offered no purchase. Mack strode over to the pink man, who looked up... Mack strode over to the pink man, who looked up at him through a veil of sweat and nearly visible body odor. Mack couldn't smell it, though. He couldn't smell anything since he tried sniffing that lit candle in elementary school. "Excuse me, sir," Mack boomed. "Do you have a minute to talk about..." The man became visibly distressed. He instinctively reached for a doorknob that wasn't there. "Our Lord and Savior..." The man scrambled to his feet and ran off. Mack smiled. "Jesus. Works every time." Freddy came over, with Kronk in tow. "How did you get rid of him so quickly? Did you threaten him with violence, perhaps?" "No, I threatened to waste his time," Mack replied. "Mr. I never got your name." "It's Freddy." "Well, Mr. Freddy, humans hate wasting time. Well, they love wasting other people's time, but they'll avoid wasting their own time at all cost." "He's not coming back. Let's go." They boarded the ship, and Mack found somewhere to stow his effects. The place was triple the size of any caravan camper he'd been in before, and the bathroom was luxurious. As Mack gave himself a short tour of the ship by himself, he could feel the tug of gravity increase. "Goodbye, Earth," he thought. "If only just for a little while. I'll be back tomorrow, definitely." He made to join the others in the cockpit. "You know, I get a horrible motion sickness," Mack said, entering the room. "Great," Freddy said, not really paying attention, as he and Kronk pressed a whole bunch of buttons and whirled levers on the ship's console. "So what's our first stop?" Mack said. "The DGV. There's something super important we need to get there before we go back to my home system," Freddy explained. "I see. No doubt it'll be some kind of quick trip. We're getting some techno-weapon or space laser from the DGV? The drifting, the displaced, what? Mack said. "The Department of Galactic Vehicles. Mack, we gotta get you an ID. Punch it, Kronk." "Punching it now, sir," Kronk said, slamming his metal fist onto the launch button and destroying it. The ship careened away off into space, towards the nearest jump buoy. Tune in next week for a wonderful adventure at the Galactic Department of Vehicles.
All right, I will.
We all love the DMV, so
that sounds like it'll be a blast.
It'll be a brain blast.
Be something.
Brain blast. That was, interestingly, that was also something that my character, who was a fish out of water, had to deal with upon entering space for the first time. He had to get himself an ID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're going to get harassed by the police if you don't have it.
Only natural.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you to vent all your oxygen.
Yeah.
I mean, I just had my character murder someone and take their ID, but going to the DMV sounds like fun too.
Well, I mean, that's the plan at least. But anyway, I tried to use some real science. I've been trying to think about science more lately, and I put a science in my story this week.
Yeah.
I liked that. And, you know, it was fun how it was like things that would occur to an Earthling with the knowledge that we have, but then, you know, the aliens just kind of dropped the info on him like, no, come on.
Oh, what are you dumb? You looking at the atmosphere? Yeah. You looking for phosphorus? What are you, Dingleberry?
Like, I can't believe you came to conclusions on your own.
I can't believe you came to such wild conclusions so far away from the thing. No, I was watching a bunch of Fermi Paradox essays about like the different reasons why people think there's no life in space, right? They're like, oh, there's the Great Barriers, or oh, there's not enough phosphorus, or oh, there's this, or oh, there's that.
But then you had Freddy confirm one of them.
Yeah, Freddy's like, I'm literally an alien. He's like, you're talking to an alien. And they're like, no. You see, Freddy, great claims need great evidence. Or whatever the fuck. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Claims need evidence. You don't need substantial evidence for substantial claims. It's dumb. Claims are claims. Anyway.
Yeah. And you know what? I like that I know exactly what Freddy looks like, what Mack looks like. I'm sorry I said he was Johnny Bravo, because he's not, but...
No! I mean, yes, and also the baby...
I like knowing what he looks like.
I mean, I do love Johnny Bravo.
Yeah.
I wish he'd talk like him, though.
Who doesn't?
Although that might be problematic, too. I can't do that.
No. Man, when are we going to get a Johnny Bravo?
Can't do an Elvis impersonation?
I mean, oh, mama.
Yeah.
That's about as far as I can go. Maybe I'll have him say, oh, mama. Although then I might be getting into lawsuit territory.
There you go. Maybe.
Hey, you know what? Cartoon Network, give this a listen. Tell us what you think.
Yeah, and then suck my whole ass. And then sponsor me, you cuck. Anyway, this week it was real easy to write this story. This week's story was half written already because last week I wrote too much and then I didn't. I had to like cut it at like a reasonable spot, or not last week, but last time.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
It's good to know where you're going with it, at least. Like, even if you hadn't written most of it already, like, you know, I frequently have outlines that are too ambitious for the constraints. And then I'm like, okay, well, now I've got an outline for next time, too.
Yeah. I had a few jokes written here, like the hairline one. I love that. That's a line from one of my favorite songs, the Wonder Years. Well, he's talking about his divorced wife leaving him. He said, I watched her leave the room, receding like my hairline.
Oh.
Yeah. It's the song's name is I Woke Up Older. And, yeah. I sometimes
like
identify
the idea that Freddy has to worry about a receding hairline.
Yeah.
Completely alien. Literally, even. Still got that male pattern baldness.
Yeah, you can't fucking escape
different
it.
Standards of beauty. Or he said that most aliens look like Mack or look humanoid, I guess.
What he's referring to here is actually that humans are the dominant species in the galaxy. Of course, I think that's something that in all of our... Well, I don't know about Jared's, but I think in your story this is also the case. No. Humanoids are typically the most populous. One of the things that I love, and I've written this into a few of the...
It's easier to make a movie with just races that just need facial prosthetics.
But I also think it's really interesting when you look at like the Warhammer 40k kind of stuff where like humanity's so spread out that like you would imagine we'd all be really highly advanced, but if you spread it out far enough, the distance between planets and communication being really unfeasible over such large distances, it's like, you know...
Turns some people into robot skeletons.
Yeah, like in the Warhammer 40k books, apparently, like there will be like this planet with like medieval technology because you know they've since forgotten how to build anything. So they, you know, they have castles and horses and stuff. And then like one day a fucking giant ship shows up and it's like, hey, you owe us 3,000 years of back taxes. Hello? And yeah, like that to me is like funny and also interesting. Like maybe humanity is like the progenitor of intelligent life, and it's so spread out now that it's impossible to communicate with any other of our species.
Right. They just had a whole generation of kids who graduated with English degrees, and then they couldn't science anymore after that.
Yep, or maybe like a big old war and they fucked themselves up. I've got an idea for another story, but not a science fiction story, but the Valley of the Stone Bones, right? And it's really just a wasteland of rotting skyscrapers, but the people who live there think that they're like bones of giant monsters.
Yeah, that's interesting too.
Yeah. Because they're so far removed from it.
I literally said in my story that humans were the most populous because I want to make this into a movie later. Somebody out there. And humans are easier to cast. As background setting.
Oh, you just gotta make them wear some janky PVC things on their face and they'll look just like an alien.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna need to pay Oni NG for the fucking Freddy doll for my movie.
Well, in the other story, I thought you called him a Freckian, and then this one you called him a Frecker.
Frecker,
I'm getting closer and closer.
I'm getting all frecked up here.
You guys know I just played Mass Effect, and so I thought that was an interesting thing where humans weren't the biggest, most powerful species out there. So that I thought that was just a interesting, cool angle. But I now having played all 3 of the games, I'm like, but it's also interesting if humans are. So, both sound cool.
I mean, you can pretty much make them the focal point of the game if you kill the council in the first game.
Although they get replaced by other dudes.
They get replaced, but the humans become more the dominant species after that.
Who do you reckon was the best choice to be the human council representative?
Anderson, because the other guy's a creep.
Okay.
Later on tries to kill the council.
I might bring this up. Yeah, I might bring this up later, but after the podcast. But I picked Anderson. But then Mass Effect 3 starts and it doesn't even care that I picked him. They're like, no, it was the other guy. Yeah, and he's evil now.
What?
Yeah, you picked him because he's betraying you now.
No, man.
Like, no, I didn't.
Now wait a minute. Were you able to port your saves over?
Yeah,
with the new legendary thing, does it port your saves?
Of course, yes.
Yeah, no matter what, Anderson is just part of the military at the start of 3 because they need him on Earth for the storyline to happen.
Oh.
Because the Udina wouldn't work in that role, so...
Well, it sounds like they wrote a bad story. Game thing.
I mean, even if they were thinking, like, okay, well, obviously you would pick the politician to do the politician's job in Mass Effect 1. No. Nobody liked him.
Yeah, nobody liked him, and also Anderson, we all know that the person who doesn't want the job is the best one for it in regards to, like, high levels of power. Usually the person without ambition is the better choice.
Yeah. No, I saw that man's receding hairline right off the bat. I'm like, this guy's evil. I don't even like him.
Luck. That's typecasting.
Well, for a reason.
We're all evil here. Welcome to Science Fiction's Villain Podcast. We all have receding hairlines.
I don't know about Jared, actually. I don't think so.
It's starting to, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it happens.
I don't really care.
Well, aren't you lucky?
If it gets bad enough, I'll just shave my head.
I think the higher it gets, the more distinguished people start looking.
Or evil.
I know the higher I get, the more distinguished I start looking.
Because I start walking with a big cane.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, thank you for giving me some good criticism on my story this week. I really appreciated it.
Did we not?
Oh, you did. I think so. I think you did, yes.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not sarcastic.
Okay. Oh, man.
Do I sound sarcastic? I gotta work on that. We'll catch you guys next week. And for our champion listeners, thank you for marathoning this episode all the way through to the end. All fucking 45 minutes of it. You guys are champs. Anyone who listened all the way to the end, and I'm including myself here because I always do. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I don't know why I stuttered right there. Like, comment, and subscribe, nerds.
That's just the remix.
It's just the remix, the dubstep version. You guys gotta start mailing us checks payable to Big Chungus over here in Japan, and we really need all your support that you can send us, really. If you can airdrop some food or, anything really, any little bit helps. And catch you next time.
Sure. Or don't.
Bye.
Yep, bye.
Bye.